Hello gamers, it's me, SPILLIN. It's my show. Glad to be back to do another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about, or I actually wanted to do a video response to Dreamcastic Channel. He's actually a really in-depth collector when it comes to Dreamcast games. Dude's got a wealth of knowledge about Dreamcast games. It's like one of those systems to me that was a forgotten system, but it's also a gem at the same time, because it's an untapped area that I didn't get into, and I'm glad I have my Dreamcast. So I'm learning little by little by little. I just happened to see his video today. It was talking about games I wouldn't have bought, and he just went in and talked about games he would have never bought, but they came bundled, or games that he just happened to get bundled with other games. And for me, my own experience comes from when I started collecting 2 years ago. The first system that I actually had got was a Super Nintendo. I had got like 9 games, 4 controllers, and the lot was pretty nice. I saw the games, and it was on a it was a Craigslist deal, and it looked pretty awesome. So originally the guy had it at $100, because the Super Nintendo was a little bit more expensive at the time. It's a little cheaper now, but by the time I met up with him, he dropped it down to $70. Now, he did have some impressive titles, but the titles that he did have, half of them were titles that I know for sure that I wouldn't have bought. And I'm just going to quickly show you, because I don't want to get into it too long. We got like Bases Loaded 2, Williams Greatest Hits, Animations, or Animaniacs, one of my favorite cartoons. The game was okay, but I haven't played it since then. Power Rangers, which I think this title is worth some value, little value. And Toy Story. Now, normally, if I saw those titles for the Super NES, unless they were like $1, I would have never bought those. But the fact that they came bundled with titles like Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario Kart. It was actually two copies of Super Mario All-Stars, the greatest hits, and in the regular version. Yeah, I think there was a few other games that came along with it as well. I can't remember all the titles, but I didn't grab them all and bring them down, because I didn't want to talk about that too much. But yeah, that's just like my case in point. Games I would have never bought, but because they came bundled. And then on my PS2 deal, there was some more titles that I got, and I'm just going to quickly show you. King Kong, which actually turned out to be a pretty good game. Pac-Man Fever, and this was on a PS2 deal that I did with a fellow Twitter buddy of mine, BJamer or BJ Gamer, BJamer, I guess we can go by. Pac-Man World 2, and she had a lot of Crash Bandit games, which I am so not into, but the condition of the games were in such awesome shape that you couldn't help but love them. I mean, they were glossy and everything. I mean, you see games like this, like Ty and stuff like that. Was it Ty the Tasmanian Tiger? But this was like one of the gems out of it was Snoopy versus the Red Baron. This actually turned out to be a pretty fun game. I thought it was going to be garbage, and it turned out to be really fun. She did have Jackson Dexter, which is like one of my all-time favorites. Definitely one of my classics. You have to have this. This is the originator, the predecessor, Legacy, which started everything. I think she had 2. I couldn't remember. She had Jackson Dixon, but she had tons and tons of Crash Bandit games, pretty much all of them. She also had like Spyro the Dragon, like 3 of his games, because she ended up giving me like 20 to 22 games, 20 to 25 games or something like that with the PS2. And I think I only paid the fat PS2 with about 4 controllers. I think I paid about $50 or $60 for that, for the whole lot, which wasn't bad at the time. And like I said, that was 2 years ago. And then my last set, this one was the Mega, because I ended up getting the Sega Genesis And the guy was very upfront. He was like, I'm just going to sell you the Sega Genesis with 2 controllers. It was in box, but the box was ratty. It's still in my garage. That's why I don't even put it on my shelf. The box was just so withered out. But I was so glad to get the Sega Genesis because I already had plenty of games. The games I think I only bought like a few games like Strider and a few other little games, but I ended up getting all of these sports titles. I'm gonna see if I can fit these in the camera. You can see that. Let's see. All of these, look at this. I mean, we got some NBA Jam in there and stuff like that, some of the classics, but for the most part, those games, I would have never bought those games. I mean, even now with the games that I have in box with my Sega Genesis collection, I would have never, I mean, they take up so much space and it's ridiculous. But yeah, those are games that I know I wouldn't have bought. There was some hidden little gems in there that kind of pulled me in to get the lot, but there's other ones out there. So tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, leave comments, leave a video response to this as well. Pretty much telling us, like in a short few words, games you wouldn't have bought. Other than that, tell me how your life is as a gamer. I'm SPILLIN 79, and I'm out.